was going to be there for Christmas. My brother was going to be there, his wife and daughter. Lo and behold, it had been wonderful for us. Nope, they wouldn't let her come. So we said on each other's phone, she says, April the 2nd, coming up, I'll be 18. I'll marry you when I'm 18. So we were married on her birthday, April the 2nd, 1943. The heck with what either one of your parents said. We were going to get married. And by golly, we did. We had 63 years of grand and glorious life together. And we did a lot of things and went a lot of places and had a lot of fun. And she was very, very good to me. And her picture's over there when we first were married. But anyway, get back to my story again. I'm getting off track and the horse too. Bev, do you have any water around the bar? Okay, good. Anyway, when we finished, we didn't finish up. I couldn't get up to see her to Atlanta, so I volunteered my services to fly Christmas Day. Let the men with children and families that were down there have Christmas together, I thought. I had nothing else to do. Well, my roommate felt sorry for me. My roommate's name was Cleve Morrison. Now, I don't know whether any of you women are old enough to remember. Back in the 20s, in the silent movie days, there was Colleen Moore. There was a silent movie star. Well, Cleve was Colleen Moore's brother. Colleen Moore was quite a movie actress in her day. She had Colleen Moore's dollhouse that would travel the country. Lazarus would have it once a year. And the Morrisons' home was in Conyers, Georgia. I'd been up there twice. Well, Cleve's dad was the head of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's set designing studios and built the sets for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. It was kind of a treat to go up to his place. It's a huge plantation in Conyers, Georgia. Lo and behold, I go up on, they put me on the 3rd floor to sleep in that big plantation house. Everything up there, I thought I was King Arthur. The toasters went higher than this room. Had big canopies on the bed. The chairs set yay high. It was a beautiful place to go to. Cleve only had one trouble. He was a drunk. I mean, he was a real drunk. He had the DTs all the time. Poor devil, and he died at 48 years old. He had lost his license over an accident. He was a wonderful stunt pilot in his day. His last picture he actually starred in, that was in 1927, he starred in Lilac Time, a World War I picture that he was supposed to be an English, high up in the English Air Force and down so many German Fokkers and so forth. He knew a lot about flying. And I felt sorry for him. I saw a man here that alcohol had taken over. Let me give you an example of it. I would cover for Cleve. I wouldn't say it's necessary to go into briefing if we had dawn patrol. I'd get him to the plane, get him in the seat, get him strapped in. Oh, by the way, we didn't have any parachutes. No such using parachutes at 400 feet. We're no damn good. So we didn't use them. But anyway, I gave him in, and I'd go to briefing. And I'd come back with our maps and our itinerary that we were supposed to take care of. One morning, Cleve slept. I took off. He never woke up. He just slept away with a cooked baby. We flew down the coast. We got down to Sandblock Point. When you get to Sandblock Point, going out about 10 or 12 miles, there's sandbars. You can see them. You can see the bottom all the way out. Big sandbars, but the damnedest thing. And each one of those sandbars, those grooves, was a great big hammerhead shark. And I mean, they were sometimes 16, 17 feet long. And they would be sunning themselves down there. As the morning sun would come up, they'd be in those shallows. Well, about the time I got to the end of it, Cleve, come up out of his seat real quick. There's a torpedo back here. There's a torpedo back here. I said, you got to be kidding me. He said, no, I said, torpedoes will sink after they make it a run. They'll go 2 miles and then pop, 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 down to the bottom. The valves will open up and down they'll go. Oh, well, he might be right, he might be wrong. But it's 360. Won't take us that much time. We did a 360 and come around. Sure enough, here's this great big damn torpedo sitting at about a 45-degree angle with the nose out of the water. Holy cow, it's a real torpedo. It must be a practiced torpedo. No, it isn't. It's dark in color. It's not the Navy color at all. Something's wrong here. So we called the base. We told them to contact the Navy, contact the Coast Guard. Well, we were clear out there on Sandoval Point. And that's almost a half a day's run in a boat from Panama City. So they dispatched a crew out of St. Joe, which was much closer. They could get there in a couple hours. Well, we didn't have a couple hours of gas, so we asked for another crew to come out and circle the location and keep it in sight all the time. And we would go in and get more gas, and we would come back out. So we went in and we got more gas, and we came back out and we circled in until the Navy got there. Boy, they were sure cocky. They come tearing up in their damn boat. By the way, the boats down there along the Panama City, St. Joe, and that whole area, if you were a doctor and had plenty of money, or if you were a lawyer and had plenty of money, or an industrialist and had plenty of money, you had a 38, 40-foot yacht, Chris Craft, Matthews, or one of those big ones with twin diesels in it. And when the war came along, that's a no-no. You couldn't go anywhere. You couldn't go outside the bay. Well, you had your choice. Put it in dry dock, turn it over to the Navy for so much money, and have it painted gray. You had your choice. You could go on as Commodore and stay with your boat and join the Coast Guard. They would put the Coast Guard stripes on. The same way with these airplanes that we were flying. The owners got $16 a day for their airplane. If it was lost, the book value, the insurance value of the plane would be paid to the owner of the thing. So they got $16 a day for every day their plane was there. That's how we got the planes that were leased. Because 80 miles back from the coastline, you couldn't fly. You go 80 miles from the Gulf of Mexico and 80 miles from the Atlantic Ocean and Florida, what do you got? Nothing. They overlap each other. You're more than overshot. So the whole damn state of Florida, you couldn't fly an airplane anywhere. Nowhere along the coast could you fly an airplane. So those planes were turned over to the government to fly. At least they get $16 a day in the insurance value if they were lost, and they prayed a lot of times that they were lost. Then we had a damn Canadian came down there. God love them. If there's any Canadians here, I apologize. They brought us a Buell Air sedan. It was made in 1927. Had a 330 right on it. Big old metal prop. The ugliest looking airplane you've ever seen. It couldn't go over 120 miles an hour. You could get out and push it real hard, it might go 121. But it wouldn't do anything. And it was a detriment to fly because if you ditched it, it was going to come apart like a seam. Oh, it was just going to fly all apart. It was a mess. Well, now it can be told. We took care of the Buell Air sedan. Cheney Vance, our chief pilot, and Weaver, who was the head of mechanics, decided we needed a test hop. So they made a test hop down between Panama City and St. Joe on the beach. There was a big flat area. They decided to call in a mayday. They were having engine trouble, and they were going to set it down on the beach. Only trouble was they had a cigarette lighter along with them. They opened the gas valves on the plane, threw a piece of paper with lit into it. We got rid of the Buell Air sedan. We never had the Buell Air sedan anymore to worry about. We were back flying our Cessnas and our Simpson Reliance and our Fairchild 24. But in these pictures up here, it's a motley looking group. It really is. And remember, this is a 3C camp. This first picture here depicts all, even the females that worked in the office. Their pictures. Everybody was here. This is an example of one of our maps that we carried on our laps or strapped to our leg. If you notice, the coordinates are all marked off. We used to fly those squares. On the back, you can't see them very well anymore, but are flags from ships so they could talk to us and we could decipher what they were saying. Over on this side is all the frequencies of the surrounding towers. We could find out what the frequencies were in a quick notice. We could look at the back of our map and see what the frequency of so-and-so is. We could call them if we needed. We had 3 of these. We had one from Mobile down touching this map, and from this map here down to Cedar Key. There was 3 of them. I've lost the other 2. This is the only one I still have. But I have it on display in my room. So that is it. This is just a general picture of us. Also the story that ran in the Columbus Dispatch. They did not want you public to know about the losses we were having. There was 12 of us assigned as first pilots. 6 of us came home. We lost 6, that's 50%. The articles were never too big, but they were in the Columbus Dispatch. This is this bottom picture, the Marine plane, you'll come up, after I'm through talking, you need to come up and take a look. That's called a Cessna Airmaster. A Cessna Airmaster is an extremely fast airplane. It has no tricks or anything like that. Only thing is, landing in a crosswind, you want to be careful. There's not much tail service for the plane. It could ground loop on you real easy. But it had no parasite drag. There was no external struts to the wing. The wing was real solid. But the only trouble is, when you crawled in that cockpit, you were there to stay. No sense wearing a parachute. You couldn't get out of the airplane even. If we went down at sea, we couldn't get out. There's no way. The co-pilot seat rides on 2 little rails that slides back. Sure enough, if you land at sea, that rail's going to be jammed and that pilot's going to be stuck up. The spar was up behind our head. We rested our head on the wing spar. The windshield went right up through our hair practically. It was so close. You were like a sardine can. You were packed in a sardine when you were flying. The other one, the Fairchild 24, and it's just an old man's airplane. It flies slow and easy, no trouble, and it gets you there and back. It was always the on-course plane. Then we started out flying down there. Am I going too long? Cut her off. Too long. I'll cut her a little short. I'll speed her up.
Go to the highlights.
Okay. Anyway, we started flying down there, and we said to ourselves, holy cow, what are we going to do for rescue equipment? We decided to get a truck tire inner tube, tie a 40-foot rope to it. Went down to fishing piers. We got some of those round cork things and painted them orange. Put one on the end of the rope, one halfway up. So if we did get out of the airplane and push the inner tube outside, that rope would float and we could grab that and pull the inner tube in. About 3 weeks after we had started flying the patrol, holy cow, the Navy came over for a review. The Army came. They said, what's your rescue equipment? We showed them. They started laughing. They laughed. You mean you're trusting an inner tube 40 miles out at sea? Don't you know what it's like? We see it every day. We said it doesn't bother us. What do you use for shark protection? Oh, I got a 6-inch knife on me. You got a 6-inch knife for some of the big, yeah, that's our protection of the sharks. Holy cow, what if you get out at night? Well, bad luck, we're going to be lost, sure as hell. And they said, we got to figure out something for these guys. 2 days later, a Navy truck came back. Would you believe they had 24 Mae West? That's a life preserver that goes around your neck and comes down between your legs and fastens on. They had little things that fasten on like my cell phone here. It was called a survival light. It blinked red all the time, and that was there. They gave us pellets to have for throw in the water, shark repellent, they called it, and they gave us one-man life rafts. And we had to take them over to Tyndall Field, the near lagoon, and practice using them, and they'd dump us in the water, and an AT-6 come up and surface. These are pictures of us taking that thing. After the war was all over, always after the fact, President Truman decided they'd give me an air medal. Well, I'd already gotten 3 others from overseas flying in the CBI. This is from the government. I used to draw a little bit for the kids. My daughter's back in the back end of the room. She remembers. This is Donald Duck I drew. We needed an insignia on our shirts and on our blouses. This insignia I drew. This is the outcome of that insignia. The company made it almost like I have it, but this became the insignia that we wore on our blouses. So people could distinguish who we were and what we were. If you notice on the sleeve of my jacket, that's a submarine we got in December. I don't know whether, here's the bottom. That is the actual submarine, like I used to wear on the right sleeve. Uncle Sam, when we got the Air Corps or Air Force, they didn't want us wearing that on uniform, so I had to take it off. Anyway, and here's some pictures here. Getting ready to go out in an old Stinson. That's one of our bomb trucks there that hauled our bombs around. This was a pleasure. They built